Welcome into halftime hits as we get everybody, filtering in and to talk about this amazing game. I am Zach Lyons. You can follow me on Twitter at FWordsPod. I have Justin Graver. You can follow him at Titans Film Room. We are replacing Jonathan Boren and Ryan Watson for today's game. I don't know what they're doing. I'm sure it's together, whatever it is, because they're neighbors and best friends and all that kind of stuff. At least I think they're neighbors, but they're BFFs. This is such a great game. I know people are probably going to start piling in here just to say that, oh, it's Jacksonville Jaguars, you should look this good. But we're looking better than what we looked at in week 2 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars when we had technically a better defensive team, or week 3, whenever that Jacksonville Jaguars game was, in my opinion. This defense is looking good. It's really feeling itself. Justin Graver, bring us home. But before you do, BroadwaySportsMedia.com. Go get you a membership today if you haven't already. We got all kinds of great content, some great all-22 footage, and that's really what everybody wants, that smarter analysis for fans. And we teach you stuff, even maybe something you don't even know that you never knew about. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it works. We want to know how you feel, but we also want to know how Twitter feels. So please click the 3 little dots down at the bottom, click the little arrow, whatever you may got down there, share it onto your live stream. We are going to be talking during this halftime. Justin Graver, what besides the amazing performance by Derrick Henry and alpha male wide receiver 1 A.J. Brown, what is your main takeaway besides those two guys?
My main takeaway is the Titans defense can stop bad offenses, and Jacksonville hasn't really been that bad of an offense for 2 weeks in a row now, but Tennessee is stopping them today. I mean, if it wasn't for that Corey Davis fumble, the Jags would have no points. Obviously, they did block a field goal, but so that was their first drive. They got a few yards, but Derrick Henry has more yards than the whole Jags offense.
I want to talk about this. Everybody's like, oh, it's a blocked field goal. The dude, Luke Kang, slipped. I mean, yeah. I know that technically the field goal was blocked, but it wasn't going in regardless. I mean, he looked like Luke Kang in Mortal Kombat. Like, I'm glad that Daquan Jones got his hand on it, but there's no way that was going 50-something yards regardless. Not to downplay it, but it was just, I see a lot of people calling it a blocked field goal, and technically it was, but it was definitely a fuck-up by Alexander Rojas.
To me, the most impressive thing right now is James Robinson has been stopped by this defense.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. You stole it. You stole my thunder.
I didn't expect that, but, I mean, Ty Smith has played really well coming in there. He made a really nice play on the first possession to get in the backfield and force a stop, and he made a really nice play to break up a pass on the second possession. So that was a surprising, impressive performance to me.
Yeah, I was shocked when I started looking at the stats before we came on, and I saw that James Robinson had been held to single digits. I mean, that's pretty remarkable for a guy that just this week, Buck Rising said that he's basically Derrick Henry. I mean, you're talking about the Jacksonville version of Derrick Henry, according to Buck Rising, and here he is getting stopped. While on the other side, now let's talk about the alpha males. While on the other side, you have Derrick Henry not only getting his first 100-yard game in Jacksonville, he went for 122 yards in the first half. D-Henber, baby. Hashtag D-Henber. And on top of that, it's his 9th consecutive road game with 100 yards rushing. I know that he is easily replaceable, according to Buck Rising over at AZ Sports, and that if you should all be going into Buck's mentions and mentioning him and talking about how dumb that take was. It was the dumbest take I've ever seen. And let me say this, alpha male. I mean, that last drive, the drive before the field goal drive, where he is just being fed and he was feeling himself, I knew that he was going to get a touchdown because he was just ready for it.
It was just a matter of time, and I love those drives. This is not even close to the first time the Titans have just had a drive where they do nothing but feed Henry and let him go down and score a touchdown. The first one that stands out to me was in the playoffs against the Patriots, I think, or maybe it was Baltimore, and then I think it was Patriots. I don't remember. And then they did one against Indianapolis a couple weeks ago, just all Henry all the way down the field, and here they are, Henry all the way down the field, 5 carries, 75 yards, touchdown. Cam Batson with the block on the edge to seal the run. And Henry just obliterating the safety's angle. I mean, it's crazy to watch him run. He's at 122 right now. Against Indy, the Titans were up by so many points when at halftime when Henry was having a great first half that it was like he's probably not going to have a chance to get to 200 because they're just going to be shut down and running the ball. With only a 2-touchdown lead here, starting the second half with the ball, I think Henry's going over 200 today. Do you?
Yeah, I think he definitely is. He's feeling himself, much like the rest of his team is feeling themselves. I just think that Derrick Henry has it. And speaking of feeling themselves and feeling that ball with a one-handed catch, AJ Brown, the play was good, but the Jaguars cornerback did not bite on it, and he was all up in AJ Brown's face. And a lesser wide receiver wouldn't have made that catch. He makes the most dumbfounding drop later. I mean, just in his hands and drops it. But other than that, having a great game. And let's get into that one-handed catch. Is that the catch of the year?
It's definitely the Titans' catch of the year. I mean, we've seen some really nice Adam Thielen, corner of the end zone, Tyler Lockett, corner of the end zone, even Marquise Brown on Tuesday night, corner of the end zone. But for his best Titans catch of the year for sure. The cornerback had AJ's arm totally grabbed and should have been pass interference. They didn't call it. How about Art Smith coming out with a flea flicker on the first drive of the game against the Jaguars?
Well, you got the flea flicker, and then later you have the fake punt. And I mean, I don't know why they're doing all this against a really bad Jacksonville team, but I'm here for it. I don't care when you do those kinds of plays. I love watching them, and I like to be surprised. And that's what it's all about. Those not only are we surprised, the defense is surprised. And I just am so far just thoroughly impressed. And I want to get into the defense a little. I mean, we will talk about Quessenberry here soon, but I do want to get into the defense a little about that they're no Kenny Vaccaro, but it feels like to me, generally our tone setter. When Kenny Vaccaro makes that play early in the game and the defense gets all hyped up, like in the Patriots game and I think he did one in the Colts game, this defense is going to be on fire. And so far, I would say that trend, that game setting, tone setting play was the Ty Smith one. You saw when he knocked that ball out of hand, you saw the defense, and Darren Bates should just be a morale coach on the sidelines. I don't care if he ever sees the field. He's the hype man because he's always around there, always getting everybody hype, and that's worth something to me if I'm a defensive player. But he comes out, everybody's like all up with Ty Smith, and to me, that was a great play, and that let me know right then there. I got in the group chat, and I said, the game is over. When the defense is feeling themselves like this, it sucks for the other team. I just want to see it every week.
Right. And it's nice. Hooker also made a nice play setting the edge in the run game. Rashaan Evans, who we know that he maybe struggles in coverage at oftentimes, but he had a play where he had to carry Keelan Cole out of the slot up the seam, and he's right there to break up the pass along with both safeties converging and knocking that ball away. And then right after that is Malcolm Butler knocking the next pass away. I mean, you really love to see the way this defense is playing at the catch point. They've been so bad this season at just being a step behind receivers, and we've seen Chenault get open over the middle with David Long kind of fell for a pump fake, which was a nice pump fake by Glennon to get that window open over the middle. But I do think that you force the Jaguars to be one-dimensional now by building this 17-3 lead. It's going to open the door for Harold Landry and other guys to get after the quarterback. We saw them get after Glennon towards the end of that first half. They couldn't get the sack, but they were right there wrapping up. Harold Landry forced a throwaway on a third down earlier, a couple of possessions earlier. So I think we could see some Titan sacks here, and we don't see a lot of Titan sacks this year. They're on pace to set their lowest sack total record for franchise history. So hopefully we see some sacks piling up in the second half as this defense is able to run. And
Simp Biscuit is says LMAO, we're praising the D against the Jags. So what is lie? Look, this defense is not good. So you should praise whatever you can get. It doesn't matter who they're playing against, in my opinion, because probably next week we're getting blown out by the Detroit Lions, and the defense is going to have a total meltdown. Let's be honest. That's what's going to happen.
And the Jags are bad, but first of all, it's really hard to lose 11 or 12 games in a row, which the Jacksonville is on pace to do right now at halftime. And eventually things start breaking your way. And we almost saw it with the Titans unable to convert on fourth down and at the 10-yard line with Corey Davis fumbling at the Titans' own 40, which, I mean, the Titans offense is overcoming that, and the defense even is overcoming those plays. And the Jags just took Minnesota to overtime. Minnesota is a playoff team in the NFC. And 2 weeks ago, they were a 2-point conversion away from tying the Browns in the final minutes of the game. The Browns, who just destroyed the Titans last week. So, yeah, we'll praise the defense when they play well. I mean, it's the NFL. Every team killing any given week. So, yes, it's only the Jags, but it's still very encouraging, and it's something that the team can use to build confidence and move forward as they close out the final stretch of the season.
And so let's talk about the bad real quick, and then we'll try to end it on get some questions or something. So if you got any questions, put them in there. David Casenberry, not that great so far. Are you concerned? I've seen a couple people say that we should go ahead and put in Marshall Newhouse, who, spoiler alert, is not even going to be any better. But what are your feelings on Casenberry?
It's just weird to me that they're leaving him one-on-one. Like, it seems like Tannehill's dropping back in these passing situations, and they're not putting a tight end or a running back over to help Chip. I mean, they're putting it – there's Jeremy Nichols in the backfield, but he's not going to the left side. And we saw Chase on with a spin move get right by him right after he was bull rushed right into Tannehill's lap. So it's like, just throw a chip block over there. It doesn't matter if it's Newhouse. It doesn't matter if you put Isaiah Wilson in. I mean, one-on-one, a bad tackle, he's a third-string tackle for a reason. Like, a bad tackle is going to be a bad tackle. So you just got to start giving him some help. And I don't think it's really going to be a problem in the second half because the Titans are going to be able to run the ball down Jacksonville's throats and close out this game, in my opinion.
This is a very important win. Not only is it against an in-division rival, but the Devil's Egg actually brings up a very good point. The Colts couldn't sweep the Jags. So when it comes down to common opponents and tiebreakers, this is going to be a very important win because we are going to be 2-0 against the Jags, barring something crazy happening in the end. I think this is a great way to start the game. I feel like the Titans should be up more, and I hope they don't take the foot off the gas going into the second half. Any last words before we head out?
If you can live bet Derrick Henry's rushing yards over, do it.
Yeah, might as well bet the over on whatever Derrick Henry's current rushing yards is, and win you some free money.
I hope you guys all took that over 0.5 yard free bet thing that FanDuel or whoever was offering.
I think it was DraftKings offered it.
DraftKings.
Yeah. Well, that is halftime hits. Let's get back to the game. Remember, I'm Zach Lyons at F-Words Pod. That's Justin Graver. He'll be back at Titans Film Room, and he'll be back for the post-game show where we will get into some more good stuff. Let's go see some Tazar Skipper, and I'm glad that Tazar Skipper has a friend and fan in Simp Biscuit. For BroadwaySportsMedia.com, halftime hits, you just got hit in the mouth.